Some names fade into the dusty pages of history, but some continue to echo for centuries. Cleopatra is one of those names. She was not just the last queen of Egypt. She was a woman who defied fate in a world where politics was a game of genius. Love was as dangerous as a power struggle, and survival meant mastering both. Her life was a tale of power, passion, betrayal, and tragedy. But every legend has a beginning. Egypt, the land of the Nile, where towering pyramids reach for the heavens and gods lived in the blood of kings. But the Egypt Cleopatra was born into was far from its former glory. Conquered by Alexander the Great, it was now ruled by the Greek-descended Ptolemaic dynasty. The people suffered, and the palace was filled with blood-stained intrigues. In the midst of this chaos, in 69 BC, a girl was born in the royal palace of Alexandria, Cleopatra. She was not just a princess. She was a queen who would carve her own destiny with her intelligence and ambition. But the throne would not be handed to her on a silver platter. When her father, Ptolemy XII, died, the throne was left to 18-year-old Cleopatra and her 8-year-old brother, Ptolemy XIII. Yet, she had no intention of ruling in the shadow of a child. Whispers in the palace grew louder. Her enemies made their move, and one night, a sudden decision was made. Cleopatra was dethroned. She was forced into exile, but for a queen, exile was only preparation for a comeback. While in exile, Cleopatra devised a plan. She would return and reclaim her throne. But how? The answer lay in Rome. At that time, the most powerful man in the world, Julius Caesar, was in Egypt. Her rival, young Ptolemy XIII, was trying to win Caesar's favor with gifts. But Cleopatra knew that a man's loyalty wasn't won with treasures. It was won by captivating his soul. And so, one of history's greatest intrigues began. Cleopatra had herself rolled into a rug and smuggled into Caesar's chambers. When the rug was unrolled, the relationship between Caesar and Cleopatra was more than a love affair. It was an alliance that shaped the fate of two empires. Cleopatra bore Caesar a son, Caesarion. She dreamed of him as the future ruler of Rome. But Rome's Senate was uneasy with Caesar's devotion to Cleopatra. And one fateful day, in the Senate chambers, Julius Caesar was stabbed to death. As he collapsed in a pool of blood, Cleopatra knew that her life in Rome was over. She had to escape, and so she returned to Egypt. She was alone now, but history had one more path to offer her. Mark Antony. Mark Antony was one of Rome's most powerful men. But to Cleopatra, he was not just an ally. He was the love of her life. Their love became legendary. They hosted grand feasts in Alexandria, sailed together, and stood side by side on the battlefield. But Rome did not approve of this love. Octavian, Caesar's heir, declared that Mark Antony had betrayed Rome for Cleopatra. War was inevitable. In 31 BC, the sea ran red at the Battle of Actium. Octavian's fleet defeated Cleopatra and Antony's forces. This defeat marked the end of an era. When Antony realized the war was lost, he took his own life. Cleopatra found him dying in a pool of his own blood. Her tears were not just a sorrow, but a fury. Everything was lost, but she would not kneel. Octavian wanted to parade her as a captive through the streets of Rome, to display her as a trophy of his victory. But a queen does not become a spectacle for the amusement of the crowd. Cleopatra looked into the mirror one last time. She was no longer a defeated ruler. She was a legend that history would never forget. And so, she made a final command. A cobra was brought to her. In ancient Egyptian belief, the snake was sacred. Its bite carried a ruler to the gods. The queen brought the snake to her chest. A moment passed, and then silence. Cleopatra was gone, but she was never erased from history. She was a queen, yes, but what made her unforgettable was not just her throne. It was her intelligence, her courage, her relentless ambition. She was a woman who shaped her own fate in a world ruled by men. She was the heart of one of history's greatest love stories. She was a leader who fought for her empire, and perhaps most importantly, she was the last queen to die unbowed.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Stay tuned for more content and hit that like button to show your support. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.